Welcome back to Caffeine Confessionals. We're here to talk about the Challenge All Stars 4, episode 11, penultimate episode. The final is kind of here, and the season's finally wrapping up. I'm joined by my Southern co host, Luke Muncie.
What's up, folks?
We are not joined by Zoe. She's currently vacationing in Europe. She's going to be in there she's not going to be here for next week either, but we love Zoe. She's living her best life. I'm jealous right now because she's in Europe and we watched this episode that, frankly, wasn't the best.
Yeah, I told Allan before this, I thought that this was the last episode. So starting it, I was like, yes. And as we kept going, I was like, oh, no. And I had to fast forward to the end to be like, is there a winner here? And there was not. So yeah, penultimate, we're close. We had also said this season's dragged on, which it has. And I really think part of that is it's kind of got a little boring, but also we've hyped it up for so long that it can't live up to the hype. It's still good. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy with the season, but I'm ready for it to be over.
And then while it's airing, as we know, they had season 4 departure. It already filmed, and then they had departure for All Stars 5 while it's going on. So if you're in the challenge, like Twitter, social media sphere, just attention from it is constantly getting dragged away. And then this week, I mean, like if you're in the challenge world, there are rumors there might be a Cara and Polly breakup, which is infinitely more interesting than what's going on TV right now, sadly.
Yeah. I mean, the fallout from this season has been good. You mentioned Cara, and there's some can fallout with her as well, which has been really interesting to hear. And you're right, with Polly into this, I'm like, ooh, that's what I care about. It's not this show that filmed in 2022 or 2020, early 2023.
Yeah, and it's if you like this episode, I don't blame you. Like it was a perfectly fine episode if you liked it at home, but to me it was just an episode to get us to the actual final. This would have been a really good week to have a 2-week finale. Actually, if this set up to the actual final and then we had the finale this week, that would have been good. You know, like the way they do the 2-episode premieres. Without that though, I'm just waiting for next week.
Right. Yeah.
Now we weren't here to podcast about the episode last week, so apologies to that. We were just really busy with life. Couple interesting things that happened with that episode. Jay threw himself into elimination despite having a nose where he maybe couldn't breathe underwater and being colorblind. It reminded me a lot of Jordan throwing himself into that wall climbing elimination where he knew he probably wasn't going to win, but he kept saying that he was going to go in. And what were your thoughts on that, Luke?
You know, I thought it was dumb, but I did respect it because I think that the understanding for all of them was this is it. And I think he thought, I've not got the shot thus far. I've not taken the shot thus far either. This is make or break. Him losing was kind of a foregone conclusion, but I hate to say that I respected it. I get what you're saying about it being like Jordan, but Jordan's was purely like arrogance. Yeah. Whereas Jay's was part arrogance, don't get me wrong, but also I think desperation that he knew he had to make the final and he had to go in, and this might be his last shot.
Yeah, there's a big difference between them in that, but I think they both saw the elimination, knew they were going to lose, and still went for it, which I think that's the similar. I agree with you. I've seen some people call Jay dumb, which it's not the smartest move to make when you know you're going to lose an elimination like that, obviously. But Jay has had to live with the last 10 years of he didn't drink the drink, and it's always like the what if he had drank the drink. And in this moment, he had to take the shot because he would feel even dumber if it came to next week and TJ said, you're all going home.
Right. I feel the exact same way.
And TJ, I mean, he showed respect when Jay, threw himself down there. He's all like, I don't know who this different Jay is, who this new Jay is, but I like him a lot more.
Yeah, I thought it was a cool moment for him.
Then, of course, we had Steve win the elimination and then take the star from Adam. Adam, who in deliberation threw his friend under the bus, was like, Steve's been the bottom 7 out of 10 times. Let's throw him into elimination. And I thought Steve made the right move in taking Adam's star. Adam's reaction, though?
It was a lot. Like the sit on it and spin comment with the hand gestures that I probably can't do on YouTube. I get it. Like that's the stuff I like to see on TV, but like, whoa. And I mean, he's feeling like he's lost his spot, so I'd be upset too, but he kind of did it to himself.
I was driving the Adam hype train a lot early in the season. I said he was the top guy here. He's just a completely confident player. And in this moment, my thoughts out the window. Completely destroyed that take. He just looks so insecure. He looks so feeble, just not loyal to a friend and just straight up petty.
Yeah, I agree. And to comment on things outside of the show, he's made a lot of comments recently on Twitter and podcasts about some of the women on the show, Cara specifically. And listen, I get if you're not on the Cara train. I understand picking sides. That's the fun of the show. But he like made comments about how people didn't like her for her confidence and like she shouldn't be as confident. And I think Zoe talked about it the last time we podcasted, but like it just is a gross thing to say, especially as a father of two girls. So yeah, like my initial reactions from this season, I feel like I need to retract all of them because he messed that up.
He is a creature of hyperbole, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where it was so easy to fall into the trap of him. Where, I mean, early in the season, he was just praising people, like throwing like love onto Leroy and Cam, where he would say these nice things about them, and then flip the script and he's all like, oh, she's a manipulator, oh, she's entitled and stuff like that. It's like Adam, there's no middle ground with him. He has no nuanced takes.
And it's so funny because I think I told you and Zoe before this season even started that I met Adam at Challenge Mania, and he was so nonchalant. He had nothing to say. He was obviously with Avery, and he's like, I'm going to let her do her thing. I really thought we would just get this like calm, even-keeled guy, but you're right. A creature of hyperbole is such a good way to put it because everything this season has just been one way or the other in the most extreme fashion. Makes for good TV and, you know, possibly has secured him a spot on another season of the challenge. Who knows? But yeah.
It was interesting to see the way social media responded to that take where I would say 80% of fans are like, this guy, worst person in the game. I hate this guy the most of everyone on the cast. And then there was a good 15 to 20% of people who were like, oh, this is the messy reality TV we need.
Yeah. And for that sheer fact is why I'm okay with it. Like, it's the same reason I'm okay with Laurel having her meltdowns and then Cara and Cam having their fallout. Personally, like the older I get, I'm like, ooh. But as a viewer of a reality television show, thank you.
And of course, Steve took his star and gave it to Ace again. And Ace has now gotten 2 stars in this game with doing very little, which good for him.
Yeah. I mean, he had commentary this episode of like, I guess it pays off to be a nice guy. And I'm like, people see you as a layup. You've only done well when partnered with Cara. I guess Nicole once, but yeah.
They come out, and so it's Cara, Nicole, Veronica, Ace, Steve, and Leroy who have stars. They leave, they go to the daily challenge, and TJ drops the bomb on them.
Pause. Before
Oh,
we drop the bomb, the journey to the daily challenge was absolutely insane. Like, I think it was like they were in this, am I right? They were in this bus and they
yeah.
had like these like quips that were clearly given to them that they did not want to say. And I'm like, this is cringy, cheesy. I don't know if I like it, hate it, am indifferent to it. But like, you could even tell on some of their faces, they were like, what am I doing? But the standout thing was when TJ said, Laurel, stop yelling at your sister. Talking about Cara Maria. Like, I guess that makes up for all the other cheesiness. Sorry, love that part. But yes, they get to the daily challenge.
TJ drops the bomb on them. If you have a star right now, you're going to the final, which great. And personally, I would have loved him to see him say, "Everyone else, you're out right now." I would have been great for me.
The exact same way. I feel the exact same way. Avery had comments before saying, "I don't know why Laura was so at ease. She doesn't have a star. This might be over." And Avery was clearly struggling. I really would have loved had they done that. Only because last episode or 2 episodes ago, Laurel not going in to get her star was such a big thing. It almost seems like a cop out. Like, hey, you didn't do the rules of the game, so now we're going to reward you with another chance with far less people to go against.
Yeah, I mean, Laurel 2 weeks ago, Avery a few weeks ago when Flora was, she could have went in against Flora. And then it makes Jay even look worse for going in when he probably would have had I don't know if he would have had the best chance in this daily challenge, but he would have had a better chance in this than the elimination he went in for sure.
Yep. I know they can make their rules because I was about to say that's unfair. Like, I get nothing's fair, but it does suck.
And I even would have liked if it was like, I know we like to see like women compete against women and men compete against men. I wouldn't have hated if this was just 1 star for the 6 of them who were left remaining.
Especially since there's just one winner, like they're about to be doing things solo. So yeah, I agree.
Nope. One man and one woman they compete in a daily challenge. Whoever wins it gets the last star, and it's going to be an 8-person final, which I think is just a little too many considering we started off with a small cast. There's only one winner anyway. We don't need 8 people in the final. We could do 6 or 7. It's
right.
And before they even start this daily challenge, Flora, who has done absolutely nothing, isn't going to win the challenge in any way. She quits before it even starts.
And duh, she wasn't going to win, but it's like she had the confessional about, I hope I made my daughter proud. And I'm sure she did. I'm not going to comment on how her daughter feels about her mother. But like, just do it. Even if you come in dead last, like, just do it. Flora clearly keeps up with the show. If I'm going to be honest, she might not admit to it, and she might DM me. Well, I don't have Twitter anymore, so she can't DM me. But she knows how people view quitters. Just do the daily. You know you're going to lose, even if you're dead last.
And she said she was hurt, which they showed the little scar on her, which like fair. But even then, it's like nothing that she was going to do that day was going to put her in like real damage. And it's just like go at your own pace, which you've been doing this whole season. Like Flora hasn't done well in any challenges. Like just compete in the challenge. Like you don't have to know. I was just really annoyed by it for no reason.
It made me excited though for Avery, just because I was like, maybe there's a chance. Spoiler, there wasn't.
I mean, I would say there was a better chance that Avery would have won that daily challenge if Flora competed, because there was a higher chance Laura might have just tripped on Flora. I don't know. Like there's, like I don't know. Like there's the way it went out though. You had Adam, Ryan, and Derek competing, and Ryan was just a non-factor. They had to. It was basically just a cardio race where they had to undo some rope, then they had a paddle board, and then they had to jump in a giant like a pit of mud and find a star inside of it. It wasn't that complicated. It was just like a mile race probably in total, whatever it was. Derek killed it. Adam killed it too, but Derek just fucking beat him like. And I'm happy for Derek because I think he's been competing well this whole season.
Yeah, and he talked about his sister, which we saw on his most recent All-Star season, that she had taken her life and he had to leave, and it was a horrible thing. So I'm happy that this clearly meant a lot to him. I feel like a lot of people sometimes will take personal things happening in their life and like speak about it early on in the season to like gain momentum in the game. And that might be crass of me to say, but it seems that way sometimes. I don't get this vibe from him. I think this really was a big monumental moment for him. And he felt like he recovered from what happened last time. He knew he made the right decision last time leaving. I was really happy to see him get the win, or get the star, I should say.
Yeah, and I talked about this in the preseason podcast when we were breaking down the cast, but like I interviewed Derek probably back in like 2018, 2017, and it was like a text interview, and he would talk about daily challenges, and he knew every little detail about every single daily challenge that he's ever competed in. He knew the names of the daily challenges. He's one of those people who like watches the show when he's not on. He loves this show. He loves competing on it, and so making the final, like that's been a dream of his. And to see a guy like that who cares and works hard and has been doing well, like that feels good.
Yeah, I agree. And it feels even better, I think, that Adam didn't get it, just for the sake of, like, I think that he would have done great had he made it. But the sake that he had the reaction last week and he's got all these sour grapes now, it makes for good TV. And also, bye, Ryan. Thanks for being on our screen for a couple minutes.
I can't stand Ryan. You know this. Like I don't care for Ryan at all.
I met him and he's very nice, but like, if you're not gonna like try, then what's the point?
Yeah. If you're not gonna throw he had the chance last week where Jay's like, oh, are we gonna go in against each other? And he kept himself out, and it just, to me, it's just complete cowardice. Right. Not even second. It comes in third, like a deep third out of 3. And yeah, on the female side, Laurel just crushed Avery. I don't even know if Avery did, like, she didn't do great, but I don't know how badly she did because Laurel was just Laurel was just as good as the guys in this daily.
For sure. And Avery has her little commentary or words at the end where she's like, this has awoken something in me. I hope to be invited back. And I don't really want to see her back. I can't remember what episode it was, but it was a challenge season like 2 years ago where we like joked about her and I put her in the thumbnail and we were like, we need her back. She had her moments where it was really fun, but like didn't stand out, which might have been hard with Cam, Cara, and Laurel, admittedly. But now that she's full blown with Adam, I'm not really sure like what she's gonna do on a challenge season if she ever comes back.
I completely forgot about that time I put Avery in the thumbnail and people were just commenting like, is that Avery in the thumbnail? People were just so confused. I agree with you, Luke. And I was on the biggest. I was writing blogs like bring Avery back to the challenge, and that blog had like a crazy amount of views, like a crazy it's in my probably top 20 most viewed blogs all time. Like
yeah,
people were fully behind the idea, and I was really behind bring back Avery, bring back Naya, and my God, I've been so disappointed by both. I think they're so boring on this show now. I don't want to see either of them on a season again, and like we're gonna see them again. That's the worst part.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if we were allowed to say that. Here's what I will say: we've yet to see Naya back on a flagship season. In fact, have we just seen her only on All Stars 3?
She was on the World Championship season 2.
Oh yeah, but she had a partner from Argentina, correct?
Yeah.
And not to say that makes her like less of a person to focus on, but nobody cared. It was like, bye. I do want to see her with some of these younger people who do bring some drama, and then I'll give my full thoughts. But you're right, on All Stars 3 and especially World Championship, did nothing.
World Championship, we were excited to see like, oh, how is she going to interact with Jordan and Tori, in the same, and then we got nothing. And it's not like oh well, Jordan and Tori weren't an important part of. No, they were the main part of that season. And we still didn't get anything with Nia still there. Right.
Was she first boot though?
No, that's even worse. They kind of lasted like a few episodes there before they got knocked out.
Oh yeah, wait. And her partner was actually involved in some stuff. So yeah, she just didn't stand out. He was like the older guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Not a season to look back on.
No.
So Derek and Laurel get the final spots, and I mean, even Nicole is saying in her confessionals, like, I don't know if I want to face Laurel in the final, which.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you should have considered that weeks ago. And we had lots of confessionals from Cara that she's excited. This will prove who's better.
Here's the thing. I like Cara saying that because Cara is very much on the agenda of like pushing that she's if you think Cara's one of the greatest players of all time, she is. I've always been one of those people like Cara's the most important. I don't think she's the greatest. But this season, she's been far and away the best player. And if she beats Laurel here, then the argument, I think, kind of opens back up.
I agree. I like that you say that. I don't think she's the best, but she's the most important. For sure. I like that.
Yeah. And it's one of those things too where I don't want to even get into the whole argument right now. It's the whole.
Yeah. Boo.
But now that Laurel's here, we look at the field. It's her and Cara, I think, are very clearly the two biggest threats to win. Nicole, I think we all agree, non-factor because we know when it comes to the mental side of the game, she can't really do it. But this is probably her third final in like 4 seasons, and the only time she didn't make one, she got hurt.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah.
Veronica's basically made back-to-back finals because she was going to make it last season if she didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
And
I found it really interesting. Sorry to cut you off, but that she had not been in a final since 2005. Like she's not won a season since 2004. And here's the thing. I have my own personal thoughts about Veronica. I'm not somebody who's going to discredit her 3 wins because they happened in the early stages of the show. But like this does add some leverage to kind of discredit those because it has been 20 years.
I will say, okay, she was in the Inferno 2 final, which was like, that was actually like a marathon. Like they ran like 14 miles to that final. Like that was and she was killing it. She was killing that final. It was Tanya and Tina who were dying. But like she was always good at obstacle courses and running back in the day when she was in shape, but it's a much different person who she is now. But yeah, she hasn't been in one of these in a while. It's been a long time. I'm a Veronica like championship defender.
Yeah.
Just be.
And,
Oh yeah.
and I'll never take it away, but this is a little off topic, but I am curious, just your opinion. Do you think that her 3 wins are more impressive than perhaps an Ashley or a Cara's 2 wins? And I'm okay if you say yes.
I think they're like actually. I think Ashley and Cars are more impressive, but I think it's much closer than people realize. Only because I think if someone else had won 3 seasons like a Veronica, but like let's just say they won 3 seasons and they were just kind of part of the cast. Veronica on her wins was like running shit. Like she had people throwing challenges. She was the person who was winning the most life shields. Like it wasn't that like she was winning the most life shields like and she was competing against guys.
Yeah.
So she was killing it. Like
yeah. Yeah, and it sounds like, because I don't remember her older seasons at this point, but it sounds like had she been young on current seasons, she could have politically, socially made it to the end and probably still been just fine in the shape she was back then. So that's cool.
And then also like the show also just changed as well, because like once eliminations became a bigger thing and they became like very physical, someone her size couldn't really like run the game anymore.
Right. Fair.
So for her era, she was dominant, and then as the game changed, you kind of had to get taller and bigger and stronger. Like
yeah.
It's like when the first people who could dunk started playing basketball. It's like, all right, things are different now.
Right. Oops. Yeah. But I did like that she said in her confessional, TJ said anybody can win this. There's a chance it's going to be carnival games. She's not a dumb person.
Yeah.
At all. In fact, I think she might be the most intelligent person still left, if not that start of the season even.
It's every season she always pulls like a daily challenge one or two that you just don't expect, and she gets the power and she uses it well. It's like, we had a final recently where it was just run up a hill, memorize some numbers, and then push a button, and that was like the end of the final. That's something that happened recently in like the last few years. We were very mad about it, but like if they have something like that again, sure. Or if it's like All Stars 2.
We were mad about it because Tori deserved to win. I don't personally like Tori, but like that's how messed up that final was.
And then we had All Stars 2 where like Johnny and MJ were like 5 hours behind, and then it came down to eat some food and unlock a math code. If that's what the final is, Veronica can actually win. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. And I guess on the guy's side, Leroy, I think, is a threat to win. For sure.
For sure. Yeah.
Ace is not.
Nope.
And then Derek could be a sleeper. And who's the other guy?
Steve.
Oh, well, I think Steve's great.
I have nothing bad to say about Steve. I only have good things to say, actually. I think he's a nice guy. I think he's a good competitor. There's just something about him that's missing. He doesn't.
I think he's a little odd, and I think that's what makes him like. This is such a bad thing to gauge a person on, but I think like if he were to do future seasons, like will he hook up with someone? Will he like? I just don't see him getting involved in that type of drama or like entertainment. But yeah, I can't talk bad about the dude because he's a good guy.
And like he's very consistent with his character. He's not a pushover. He's funny. A little too much hand job jokes, but as a whole, like it's not like he's not bringing anything to the table. He brings stuff to the table. It just maybe isn't A+ work.
I think because, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think he's a legitimate all-star. So it's not like people are like, oh yeah, that's Steve. It's like, oh, here's this guy who was on a couple seasons, 1 season.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of lore there either. It's just he's a good dude. Again, nothing bad to say about him. Only good things, but there's just he doesn't have the gravity that other people have.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you want to jump into the actual like final thing they have?
Yeah.
So TJ introduces them and he says there's going to be some portions where you could win advantages, and then some other portions where we'll be purging people out. And I only heard the second part. I'll be honest. At first, I kind of zoned out when TJ was given the rules. And so when they were doing the paintball game, I was like, this is a really dumb way to eliminate people.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. I was bored.
And this is the part where it feels like we're just waiting to get to next episode, because it was like the paintball challenge probably was like, I would have had a lot of fun doing it myself. I would have had so much fun. The only interesting part of it to me was Kara missing all the targets, but saying she was like in the movie Wanted, which I just appreciated that she knows the movie Wanted. She knows the title. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Made a couple hundred million. James Mac, pretty good movie.
Yeah.
You ever see Wanted?
No.
Oh, it's real good. It's a really good movie. I gave it to my friend for Black Friday one year on DVD.
Nice.
She did not know the name of Pretty Woman though, but she knows Wanted.
Right. Which checks out.
Leroy won that portion. He gets an advantage, and then they go into the portion where they have to put a circular hook through a shock maze that's a star. If they touch any of the poles, they'll get shocked.
I actually found this the most interesting part of the episode.
Me as well. And I just loved how everyone tackled it in different ways. So wait, did Leroy get an advantage for this? What was the advantage?
I think his advantage was he could not be eliminated. Like, even if you were last, he could correct. I don't know. I was kind of zoning out, but I'm pretty sure that's what TJ said. But he still was doing it for time, or I don't know what they're basing this off of. But Leroy goes first, and I thought it was genius that he was screamed so much. And they were like, oh, he's faking. And in his confessionals, he said, no, I'm trying to scare them. It was so good that the next person to go was the dumbest, forgive me, or don't, person there, Nicole. Because every time that she actually got shocked, she was screaming just as loud, which made everybody be like, oh my gosh. Only for her to come back and have to be consoled by Laurel, it was too much for me.
We had people going slow. We had someone like Ace who literally was like, I'm going to hit it every time, and was just going crazy on it, and was like, to the point where I was like, okay, this just feels excessive. Like, it doesn't even feel like he's trying to get through the maze that fast.
But do you know what? Did they tell us who was the fastest?
I don't think they did. Did they?
Because it had to have been him. No jokes aside, like,
Veronica went pretty fast too.
That's true. And I guess Ace's quick motions were pretty deterred by like him getting hung up and having to move again. But him and Veronica both. I mean, that was.
And Veronica she did it. She got shocked multiple times, did not make any noise. And then someone was like, you didn't get shocked at all? She's like, oh no, I got shocked like 4 times. And she's just like, that's to me where like, when I talk about Veronica as a competitor, that's how she's built different mentally, where she's not afraid of shit like that.
Yep.
And that's where like the old school challenges 20 years ago, that's where she thrived.
Right. Well, she even said as a kid, I would like to electrocute myself. I'm like, do your thing.
That was fun. I would have loved to see them do even more. I'm not saying I want to see them to get. Actually, maybe I did want to see them get shocked more. I would have loved to see them do more mazes.
Yeah, for sure.
We come out of this though. The bottom 2, it's either Laurel or Derek, and then they leave us on a cliffhanger. So one of those two is getting eliminated.
And they said it like so nonchalant, and the episode ended.
And it sucks because, as we're saying right now, like, Derek is a guy who's like a sleeper threat. He's like one of the only men on the game who would be exciting to watch win. And then Laurel, we also just watched them win the daily challenge to make it here, and now one of them's going to be gone already. So it's like, man, why did we even bring them both?
Yeah, in some respects, it made me think, okay, this makes this more fair, whether this was fate or maybe some manipulation. But yeah, what was the point? If we're going to get rid of people this quickly from the final, what was the point of bringing in new people for the final?
I'm so annoyed by like final purges where we don't even see people actually experience the final. Like, at least let them run a few miles or something first before you purge them. But like, they just did 2 sedentary things, and now they're out, which is just, that's a crapshoot.
And the second being something that, again, we don't have a timer. They could say whatever they wanted to.
The trailer for next week looked really good though. And I do my trailer breakdowns every season of like what to expect. So much of the trailer breakdown was stuff that's in this final, and I was like, I I remember doing my breakdown. I'm like, man, when are they going to fit this into the season? Like,
Yeah.
I kept waiting because like there's just stuff I saw in there where I'm like, I'm excited to see. They got fire. They got people getting hit by hoses. I don't know if they're going to fit it all into this next episode.
Let's pray that they do. Let's pray that it's not. And now our 2-part final, because I will have to dip on Paramount Plus.
It's summertime. I'm very much feeling like I need my vacation from the challenge right now.
No, same. No, same. And this is not challenge related, but I'm typically off in the summers. I'm not this summer. And it's like feeling like a chore to watch the challenge, which I hate to feel that way.
And I'll be upfront. Next week is a very busy week for me work wise. We're gonna earnestly attempt to have a podcast next week. Like I'm putting in all my will and hope that we will. But I want to tell you out there, not 100% chance it's gonna be up. Just because I have one of the busiest weeks of my life next week.
And perhaps if you care enough, we can film it later. I mean, I don't care. Maybe we wait for Zoe to get back from Europe if you're really super hung up. But yeah, we're going to try our darndest.
We had fun here. There wasn't much to go on really this episode. I mean, watch the episode. It's just if you want to watch people shoot paintball guns and get shocked, watch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make sure to subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube here as well. Also, thank you for listening. Sorry we weren't here last week. Hopefully, we're here next week. Regardless, All Stars 4, we're going to have a new champion next week. It's exciting times.
Yep.
Or a multi-time champion.
True.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
See ya.